thing with cash flow is once you understand what's driving cash flow, it directs you to what action you need to take next. I know businesses that say, I need to sell more, I need to sell more. But when you look at their cash flow, their expenditures are increasing so extraordinarily fast that they can't sell their way out of it. It's actually expense control we need to take. So once you understand how your cash is flowing, then you can make adjustments to your business that will actually support you in bringing you to where you want, a more profitable business.
Welcome along to the ABC Financial Intensive Shows. These are 4 consecutive shows where one expert guest will present on one key topic each week for 4 weeks. During each show, you'll receive practical tips and actions to implement into your fitness business. Our focus topic for these shows is financial management, and our expert guest is Mike Michalowicz. Last week, we spoke about resources to improve your knowledge around financial management. We're now into week 2, so let's transition straight to my interview with Mike. Mike, welcome back to week 2 of the intensive series.
It's good to be back.
Well, this week you are joining us to talk about improving cash flow in our fitness business. Can you share with us your top tips?
Yeah, to improving cash flow. So the thing is to realize cash flow is first you have to understand the basics. So cash flow is the flow of money into and out of your business. So tip 1 is understand what cash flow means. And the goal here is to manage cash flow, meaning I could have thousands and thousands of dollars of memberships due to me, right? So lots of money due to me, but not collect the money. That means there's been no cash flow initiated and they'll crush my business. And it's so obvious, but at first blush, a lot of people don't understand that. Tens of thousands of dollars of membership fees due to me. Sounds wonderful. Sounds like I have a wonderful running business, but no one's paying. So cash flow tip 1 is understand it's actually the receiving and the spending of cash. How you accumulate profit, this is tip 2, is the delta, also known as the difference between inbound cash flow and outbound cash flow. We want to increase, if we want to increase our profitability, increase inbound cash flow and decrease outbound cash flow. Now, there's other elements too. If we get more sophisticated, sometimes increasing outbound cash flow triggers more inbound cash flow, right? So if I advertise well, effectively, I need to spend money to make money. So that's what we have to understand. The other element, though, is that most entrepreneurs listening to this show, I shouldn't say guarantee, but I highly suspect don't know how to read a cash flow statement. And the reason I suspect that is I don't know how to read a cash flow statement, not effectively. And when I go to my accountant and tell them to interpret it for me, they struggle to interpret a cash flow statement. I found that most entrepreneurs revert to what I call bank balance accounting. And what bank balance accounting is, we log into our bank accounts and we see what money's there or not. And partly to the disdain of accountants and bookkeepers, we've been told never look at your bank balance. That will confuse you because maybe you've checks that are going out, maybe there's more money coming in. That's not representative of where your business is. You need to go back to the cash flow statement itself and the balance sheet and the profit and loss, the stuff we talked about last week. But most entrepreneurs revert to bank balance accounting. Therefore, and we talked about profit first last week. Therefore, when I set up the profit first system, it's about leveraging our bank balance, meaning allowing us to look at it. Because if we look at our bank balance automatically already, instead of trying to change a behavior that we're struggling to change, why not capture that behavior and build a system around it? So my tip here regarding cash flow is if you check your bank account with some, periodically, increase the frequency to check it once a day. Even if you're not doing profit first, it doesn't matter if you're using the system or not, but if at least you log in every single day and see what your balance is, you'll see naturally how it's increasing and decreasing. You'll naturally see the flow of your cash. So the 4th tip is understanding your bank balance and actually doing what's called bank balance accounting. Now, this is a tendency that entrepreneurs naturally have. Most entrepreneurs I work with and know log into their bank accounts, see what their bank balance is. The irony is our accountants and bookkeepers, the traditional ones, tell us never look at our bank balance because it's not indicative of where our business stands. Instead, look at our profit and loss statement, our balance sheet, our cash flow statement, and so forth, which they're right from a logical standpoint, but how most business owners manage their business is by logging into their bank accounts and seeing what the balance is. So what I argue in Profit First, and you don't even have to use Profit First to do this, but I think we should be checking our bank balance regularly, because even if you don't use Profit First as an example, just by logging into your bank accounts every day, you will see the fluctuations. Is your cash growing or is it decreasing? How's it changing? Is there big spikes going away? But you'll become more aware of how cash flows through your business. And what's important here, and maybe this is the fifth tip, is I believe in any business, the most important element of the business is cash flow. I think it's more important than sales. I think it's more important than the services and products we deliver, which you think would be absolutely critical. But the thing with cash flow is once you understand what's driving cash flow, it directs you to what action you need to take next. I know businesses that say, I need to sell more, I need to sell more. But when you look at their cash flow, their expenditures are increasing so extraordinarily fast that they can't sell their way out of it. It's actually expense control we need to take. So once you understand how your cash is flowing, then you can make adjustments to your business that will actually support you in bringing you to where you want, a more profitable business. The challenge with profit and loss statements, cash flow statements, and so forth, a lot of those things can be manipulated. The story I like to share is that Enron was profitable until the day they closed the business, right? I mean, it was all manipulated. And of course, they had ill intent. But any business can have numbers that are reflected that can give you a false representation of how the business truly is health-wise. But logging to your bank account, it's undeniable. The second you wire that money out, the money's gone. It isn't coming back. The second that deposit goes in, it's in your account. That's a hard fact. It's cash. So by looking at your bank, even if it's not a sophisticated bank, it's just showing you a balance where you can drill down and see individual transactions, that's adequate. And the shame is, I think many entrepreneurs are told by their accountants and bookkeepers not to look at the bank balance. It's a distraction. It's not a true reflection. And so we're hesitant to do it. When we do it, we're a little bit confused. My experience, and we now have over 40,000 companies doing Profit First, is this: logging that bank account every single day, even if you're not running the Profit First system, just knowing how the cash is moving and changing will give you a real thumb on the pulse of your business.
I have to share with you a story about one of the things that I did after reading Profit First, and it has made the biggest difference to my savings. And that is, I now allocate, or I set up an account that I can't touch for all of my savings.
Nice.
I set up a vault account, and I learnt that from Profit First. And I cannot tell you the difference that has made to my business and to me personally in having that extra kind of account off to the side that I don't use for anything else other than to put savings into. So I have to thank you for that.
I love that. When I was touring Australia, I was telling you, I was just down there recently, and I was in, I think it was in Brisbane when this came up. I was presenting on Profit First to all these Australian entrepreneurs, and one of the people raised their hands and said, do you know, in Australia, we have what's called credit-only checking accounts, where you can set up your checking account where it can only receive deposits, but you can't pay out of it at all without physically going to the bank, having the bank open the account for that one transaction, and it closes, clamps down again, and it's depository only. So they're called credit-only accounts or credit-only settings. And I was like, this is amazing. We are protecting ourselves from spending money, and we're putting this massive wall in front of us that if we really need to get the money, we can get access to it, but it takes a massive Herculean effort, and therefore we're not going to spend the money. It's the vault, but with this kind of protective barrier in front of it, makes it even harder to access it.
Oh man, it's such a good strategy. So I thank you for that, because you've been able to help me save money ever since.
Oh, I love that. I love it.
Okay, so I just wanted to touch on, so next week, you mentioned expenses today, because next week when you come back, we're going to be talking about some strategies to reduce expenses, which I think is an area that everyone's going to be really, really interested in. So last week, in week 1, or in between weeks 1 and weeks 2, you gave everyone the action, or I gave everyone the action to go and read Profit First, and then you gave the action of dragging out your P&L statement and having a look at your year-to-date finances. Are there any actions that you would recommend that people can do between weeks 2 and week 3, perhaps around improving their cash flow? What would you say?
Yeah. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to call today your existing bank. If you like doing business with them, let's keep doing business with them. And I want you to add one new account. Literally set up one new savings account there or checking account and nickname it Profit. Because what we're going to do in week 3 is we now from week 1, we know what your historical profit is. Week 2, today, we're setting up this account to start storing profit. And next week, we're going to start making you more profitable than ever. We're going to start moving money into that account. So I can't do it next week unless you take the steps today. So do it now. Set up that account.
Mike, thank you once again for joining us, this time for week 2 of the intensive series.
See you next week.
The intensive series wouldn't be possible without the support of our podcast partner, ABC Financial. Here's a quick word from one of the team.
Hi, this is Keith Lansdale from ABC Financial. If you have a club anywhere north of Texas all the way west to Alaska and Hawaii, I would absolutely love to help you with your software and billing solutions. You can contact me at keith.lansdale@abcfinancial.com. Look forward to hearing from you soon.
Again, we'd like to say a huge, big thank you to our intensive partner. ABC Financial leads the health and fitness industry in software and payment processing solutions. If you want your business to thrive with the most advanced club management software, comprehensive payment processing, and customer service that is second to none, then choose ABC Financial. You can request a demo at www.abcfinancial.com. In addition to the podcast, you can also download a transcript of each of the intensive shows. Just head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, click on the tab at the top of the page called Intensive, then scroll down and press the button that says Access the transcription of this interview. It is that easy. A reminder of this week's action from Mike. He said to call your bank and set up one of those new savings account called Profit, and then tune in next week for when we talk about strategies to reduce expenses. Thank you for joining me for episode 2 of the Financial Management Intensives.